I'm just going to do a quick introduction to inquiry-based learning. It would be quite succinct because you can't cover everything in 10 minutes, but hopefully that will give you a bit of an understanding of why inquiry-based learning might be a good thing to try in terms of pedagogy in your classroom, but also just going through the key principles. So I'm just going to have a look at why inquiry. So the first thing to know is that it really poses a problem. It starts with normally with a question or a problem, a scenario, instead of going through the normal route of presenting facts. It's really allow the students to be investigators and the teachers to be facilitators. It doesn't require a lot of resources. What it does require from the teacher is careful planning in terms of the questions you're going to ask. For example, we've worked at King's College School Wimbledon, but also within our network of school internationally. And some teachers use questions such as why is history important? How do authors use language to convey meaning? Do graphs really help us to present data? So you need to think about carefully which question, which problem you would like the students to solve, linked to your curriculum, of course. And also, your role as a teacher would be the facilitator. You really want the students to be able to be involved in their understanding of the topic, to seek the information, to seek the solutions by questioning, and you will be there to assist them, to challenge them, and to help them reflect and push really their line of inquiry. Um, it does present some challenges, so it will be perhaps messy. It might be time consuming because it's really more intense learning, more intense learning process. However, it is really quite of a replication of real life situations and how the students could be more engaged in their learning process. How they could critique their own thinking, but also their peers and thinking process as well, and evaluation. The benefit really is for the students to be engaged. It's a really hands-on learning process for the students, and a sense of excitement, a sense of being absorbed in the content or the topic which is studied, and celebrate, really proud of their findings, and be able to explain their findings. So I'm just going to touch quickly for the next 5 minutes also on the cycle. So inquiry learning is based on a really cycle, depends on 5 key principles. So it depends on the research that you want to follow. There is Kath Murdoch, there is also Benz, who have done some research and promotes different techniques, if you like. So you decide what would work well for you. But the first step is engagement. So here you want to engage your students, as I said, with a key question. Some teachers would call it the big question, the big idea. Okay, you want them to be engaged, so you can use an item linked to the topic from the outside world. You can use a problem, you can use a question, something that would really pique their interest. Okay, you want them to be curious, you want them to understand, to be keen to find out a solution for that problem. And it needs to be, if you're using a question, it needs to be an open question. Okay, they just need to be engaged in new concepts, and they need to find ways to organize their thinking around that concept and find out the solution about it. So I've put down here while I'm speaking. Hopefully you can read this. Some of the activities or things that some of the
back it down. Never give up.
Hello, can you hear me? I think I've got having echoes here. No? Passan, can I move
Yes,
on?
Samy, you can continue. We can hear you.
Yeah, okay, I can continue. Okay, thank you. I just yeah, okay, I just had some echoes. Yes, so this is hopefully you can see what the teachers as teachers what you could do and what the students could do as well. So this is the first stage, the engagement. Then we're going to move on to the exploration stage. Okay, so it could be the students could work individually or they can work as part of a group. What they're going to do here, because it's going to be, it's the teachers taking a step up. Okay, you let the students explore, you let the students um, um, come up with some ideas, and so the guiding time and the guiding process, it's very loose. Okay, you're not involving yourself as a teacher, you let them go test out some ideas, thinking about different resources, tools that they might use at this stage to help them investigate, and that's really important. Okay, so that stage is for you as a teacher to perhaps circulate around the classroom and listening to some ideas. You can of course ask questions to the students, but you're not providing them with the answers. Okay, if they are struggling, you're helping the process using some key questions to help them thinking about the resources that they might want to use to refine, to revise their current ideas. So this is the very much the investigate stage. They can use their peers, they can use their parents, their family, they can use internet, they can use everything, books, of course, podcast videos that they want to that they could access, okay, to find out more about that topic, and also thinking about, well, how am I going to use these resources to try to answer the big question, if that's the term you want to use. Then we're moving on to the explanation stage. So at this stage, the students should have a good understanding of the concept, and they are now keen to explain the concept, explain the research, what they've recorded, what they've gathered to to you as a teacher, to anyone else in within the classroom or outside the classroom. Is really the time where they communicate their ideas, and you as a teacher, it's good for you to gauge to what extent they've been grasping the concepts that you want them to explore, but also to perhaps shape the directions of your lessons as well. Okay, so again, in terms of resources, minimal. You don't need much apart from careful planning with in terms of the questions that you might ask them, and also invite the others. And that's the next step. The next step to to question their findings. Okay, so now as a teacher and as a member of the class, you want to deepen students understanding and challenge them. Okay, have you thought about this concept? What about, it's quite a good starter, what about this? Have you considered this element? Okay, and invite again students, the other students in the classroom, their peers, to ask questions. Okay, you want them to go, you want them to push really they thinking further. You want them to be able to, when you ask them, can you tell me more about this, for them to be able to answer you, either to answer you or either to think about, well, I don't know really the facts and I don't know how to answer these questions, but I'm going to find out. Okay. And also help them, because it's all about them being aware of being learners. So how did you make that connection? Okay, how did you come to this conclusion? Okay, so this is the part of the 4 steps, which is the elaboration or the discussion, and I've put down here some pointers if you would like to consider them. And the last, we're almost done. So, in the last part is the evaluation. Okay, so at this stage, it's really good for you as a teacher to know this was based more or less the objective of the line of inquiry, the inquiry learning process. This is what I wanted the students to be able to do, to discover, to investigate. Now, have they done so? Are you pleased with the results? Can you move on to the next phase? Do you have any additional inputs that you as a teacher you want to incorporate in the next stage of your teaching, or is there any room to adapt the curriculum? Okay, have they made more progress actually that you anticipated? So it is to consider now that you have the students products, if you like, what they created. So it could be from what we've done at King's. It could be we did some podcasts, we did students doing all presentations, we did quizzes, tests. I'm trying to think about what sorts of videos that they could do. And that's fine. You could place depending on the subjects, of course. So it is open. It's really an open evaluation. But what it does, it allows students to celebrate the success, to be able to explain, again, having done the investigation, having a kind of preliminary understanding of the topic, reviewed the findings, and now this is the final piece. Okay, and as I said, it's a cycle. So as a teacher, that would help you with the next step, the subsequent learning objectives or learning points that you want to do. Okay, I'm over 10 minutes and I apologize for this. There are some references that you could consider, but this is recording, so of course you'll have access to them, but I would definitely encourage you to have a look if you're interested in Kath Murdoch. It's quite a really good start to start with the learning the inquiry learning process, and how it, with minimal, again, resources, materials, you could make a massive difference to students' learning experience.